Vi and the Ashe banned away by WE, but on the OMG side of things, on the red side, it is going to be the Trist and Rumble so far. Trying to figure out what they want to ban last. It will be the Kaisa, actually.
All right, so honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to either see a Renekton for Wayward, or if you really value that Ezreal that we talked about, as both Starry and Abel are so close to the champion, it's going to be the Lucian, one of the most primary mid lanes that we have seen rise back up to the top whenever Tristana is being banned away.
I've really liked it. We haven't seen it be used very flexibly, but it is a very dominant mid lane pick, at least at the moment. Want to see how they play around that.
I'm loving the fact that every single time they're hovering something, they're just looking at their opponents as well, just to catch their reaction. The Draven being hovered as well by Wayward, just to lock in that. Talia locked in here. To me, it smells like a Rengar jungle. There you go.
There we
Angel
go.
with the Talia in the mid lane. Lots of pressure. You can push in the wave into the Lucian. Very, very safe. The answer for Yanxiang is going to be something a little bit more tanky, something that can't get assassinated later on. However, emphasis on later on, because that Talia is super quick on shoving and moving on the map together with the Rengar.
Oh, I can't wait to see the level 6 especially, and how active Angel can get. We know him to be kind of able to push and move, pun intended. But I really, really want to see this combo pulled off, because you grab it for a reason. I think you're getting a lot of sustained damage now as well with the Hery lock-in. We have seen it be a little flexible, but I do want to see it maybe go to that bot lane here. But I also want to talk about the Sejuani Braum lock-in. You have so much decision-making power in how you engage, but also your target selection there.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially when you lock in things like the Braum, you're expecting teams to push into you, and that's exactly what OMG has so far drafted for. The Talia, the Rengar, the Zeri can all in their own terms jump into the fight and pretty much assassinate someone. Right here, that someone so far is looking to be like that Lucian in the mid lane, who can be extremely pushed into the mid lane. You get a lot of priority, so you can get shut down very early on as well. So WE are going to have to figure out ways to sort of implement more champions that can help in terms of staying safe.
We round out the second phase of bans with the Gnar Lulu banned by WE. It is the Ezreal Aphelios banned by OMG, and the Kennen fourth pick for OMG on the red side.
Ooh, Zaya is one of the safest AD carries. And as for the Kennen, we have seen Shangji, if I'm not wrong. His reply to the Kennen was the Rise. Previously, he's tried to pull that one out. Didn't end up to a victory right there. However, it is one of those champions that gets to shove really quickly. When Kennen all-ins as well, you get to put down the Rune Prison and stop him dead in his tracks. Now the champion we've seen versus the Kennen is also the Twisted Fate with Exhaust. That was the top side of the map. However, we know that Wayward doesn't back down from a good matchup, I guess.
The big bad dog, but it's gonna truly be the big bad Croc, as we have seen time and time again. And that team fight access gonna be very interesting for that top lane. I think Hery and Wayward gonna have a lot of influence in their own ways, but we did get the Rakan locked in for OMG, so the dive tools, they're all present.
Oh, OMG have one button, and that's a W for, and I don't mean a victory, I mean a W for people who have played MMORPGs, and you just press W, you move forward, and you kill everyone in your path. OMG have one way in, that's all forward. If they don't get that initial pick, though, it gets really dicey for them. WE have so many tools to keep their carries alive here, and it's going to be up to Mark to make sure that he keeps that Lucian alive, be able to get that damage through. I'm expecting an exhaust even to come out of this Braum for every time that Kennen is trying to pull on a flank.
So in a lot of ways, we're watching OMG try to engage on the Team WE, and if Team WE can survive that initial onslaught, that's where their strength relies. Is that kind of the shtick here?
Now, there's two ways you can play the Zeri, right? You can either get a bunch of tanks that get her so much time in team fights, or you can get her a bunch of threats in her own team to the point where everyone will be trying to eliminate 4 other threats and they completely forget about the Zeri. So Starry does really have a pretty good time here, while WE is too busy trying to deal with the Rengar, the Talia diving into the backline. He has the potential of doing a lot of damage to WE.
The funny thing is, though, I have a hinkling that Abel is not going to forget about Starry in these fights. We talk about the replacement story there. We talk a little bit about the previous team setup for Abel as well. But as we get into this game number one, a very important one for both these teams. We're in Group Nirvana, and you need every win possible. This is the first true test for OMG, and Team WE's redemption arc might start now. I love when we get the cams and there isn't any cheering, because then it just looks really funny.
It's a little early, you know. They're just
Yeah, it's early. It's definitely early. It's definitely
just
early
getting
for
into
us
it
and
again.
not early for them, but it's fine.
it's like what, 3 p.m. for them or something like that? I think so.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit more on how this jungle setup is talked and set up, because not only are we getting Tianzhen's famous Rengar, but it is also maybe an answer for Team WE that we've maybe been cooking this whole time. Yanxiang trying to step up against another rising jungler.
Yeah, and they have a very steady setup from the side of WE. Having the Braum plus the Sejuani, the Freljord duo right there is going to be a lot of help in the team fights to come. You need to make sure that you are spotting where the Rengar is flanking from at all times, but I feel like OMG have so many threats in general in their composition when it comes to skirmishes, when it comes to playing around those team fights, that if WE are not completely aware about all the positionings, they might get caught off guard. Now, I'm the first one to say, hey, if you flank from more than one sides, if more than 2 people are flanking, it's not really a flank, because the disadvantageous numbers of one group will get jumped on really quickly and taken out. However, right here, there's so much self-agency on every single champion from OMG with how slippery they are, that I feel like they can actually pull this off.
Let's see what those machinations lie to, because both junglers going to be pathing up towards top side. So this bot lane maybe going to not take as much importance, but that's where we get a little bit of chance to talk about those the history of these two junglers, because both very new to their teams. Obviously, Tianzhen with a little bit more of a track record recently with IG, but obviously also, if you look at that track record, it was very back and forth, and IG were not set on Tianzhen a lot of the time. And I think you can take from that what you will, but especially it's really curious when you give him the chance to have his primo pick, if he can make it work.
Yeah, and on the other side, we do have a rookie coming in for Team W. Of course, surrounded by a lot of people with so much experience, and he is playing a lot of more of a facilitating role, if you will. However, when we're seeing rookies in the LPL, we're expecting a lot of fire coming out of them, especially when people like Milky Way have jumped into teams as rookies, and they've completely blown it up with how incredible performances can be through carry junglers. However, Yanxiang knows here that his role in this particular game is to try and stabilize the team fights, try to find a pick onto OMG, create an advantageous situation for his team. And as long as they take it slow and steady into that team, they should be fine for the fights to come.
I play with a little bit of vision here, but both junglers were able to just get their full clears off. Tianzhen is out on the map earlier, though, has a health crystal and the long sword as well to boot. Maybe even looking down towards this bottom side scuttle. So we know where OMG want to put a little bit of their pressure here. And it's definitely towards bot side.
And it's really fun to also see Rengar jump about 1 million times onto the scuttle grab, just about hovering into the brush to get the jump. That was a pretty fast scuttle grab as well. Of course, we do have a lot of HP coming in from the Sejuani as well. Both of these junglers playing towards that bot side, as you mentioned. A little bit on the weird side right here from WE, as they do like playing towards Wayward. You will see that Hery has also been underneath Wayward's tower for quite a while right now, and Sejuani plus Renekton is a pretty hefty combo. You can lock people down very easily, try and set that Renekton ahead in the early game. The faster he gets that Black Cleaver, the better it is. I feel like this is why Renekton has risen up in popularity as well. Not only is he super self-sufficient when it comes to lane and a bully, but also the fact that he can skip any item that he wants pretty much and just build straight up Black Cleaver first item when you've got double AD carry in your team. That armor pen helps so much in the early skirmishes.
See if that skirmish continues as level 6s will come across early for those top laners up there. But we saw junglers passing like ships in the night over here as Tianzhen will start up the dragon. Yanxiang is right nearby and has a little move from FoFo.
Let's see, Angel level 6 as well does have the wall. Mark and Abel also moving in. They're pinchering.
They want to try to take it. I mean, you got to remember how strong Braum can be earlier on with the concussive blows. They're going to block off with the Weaver's Wall, though, and Dragon getting low. Yanxiang not going to get in distance, and that's Tianzhen's Dragon all day. Now the re-engage, though, double grand entrance there. Tianzhen all by himself on Abel, and Team WE are going to collapse now. Hery has joined, though. He TP'd, and Slicing Maelstrom. It's going to make the difference here in the early play, and OMG, they come away with massive victories. A couple kills will go back, but it's a triple kill for Starry.
Oh, this couldn't have gone worse for WE. Not only do they lose the dragon, but also a massive TP from Hery that commits in that early game skirmish we just were talking about. Ends up in a triple kill for Starry. That's Zeri. We keep talking about how that champion can get accelerated and how dangerous she is when she reaches that late game state. And giving her about 1,000 gold worth is going to be a little bit tough for the lane phase of WE. Let's watch this one more time. I don't think Mark expects that Hery is going to be deep in towards that bot side because Hery was all the way back in base. So the exhaust right here is going to already be committed by Mark. And when Hery jumps in, there is no damage mitigation. The stun as well hits really hard those squishy daggers of WE. And even though WE managed to trade around 2 kills for themselves, 3-0 onto Zeri, the Rectrix and the Berserker's Greaves already. He's gonna take so much control in lane.
And even if Hery lost a little bit of lane presence, like he's right back out there in a range versus melee matchup, and you have a 3-0 Zeri now on bot side. I think you'll be just happy with that. And the dragon to boot for OMG as they take the first dragon of the game. It is a mountain dragon. And this enables Tianzhen to just play so aggressively towards the bot side of the map now.
And the funniest part is that if this was a solo queue game and your top laner makes a play like this is where you type in chat and you're like, yeah, if you don't carry this, I don't know what to tell you. I sacrificed my entire top lane for you. However, I feel like Hery is more than happy of making this game, right? Wayward on the Renekton, known to be a lane bully. You definitely want to get ahead onto that Renekton as well. And Hery is right now still 200 gold up in the lead. He was bullying Wayward underneath the tower. Tianzhen now caught into this tri-brush. He's gonna get out. He's fine.
Get a majority of the camps away from Yanxiang. And we also have level 6s for mid lane. So Angel can stay proactive. And so far, so good for OMG. They have a slight gold lead early. And we need them to kind of keep the tempo up. Obviously, a lot of eyes on Tianzhen to keep that going. But the fact that Starry has gotten a lot of the gold just enables their later game teamfight composition as well. And that's a detriment to Team WE, who were definitely looking at that with a little bit of juicy eyes.
Yeah, and definitely this Zeri is going to be roaming around the map as well when the grubs come up. A lot of the teams we've seen that they'll let their AD carries down the bot lane farm, get a little bit stronger. However, right now you have the power onto your Zeri. You do have tad bit extra more experience on the Zeri. You do have the extra items as well. You definitely want to be taking her around the map. Yanxiang is looking at Hery. Knows he doesn't have flash.
They're trying so bad, but Hery, he just did the hairs on the back of his neck start tingling. You're like, oh, what could there be? There's a giant pig in the bush. In the river?
Yeah,
Not in the bush.
The crocodile was getting a little bit too forward right there with the movement. Wayward pushing a little bit too far up. Tianzhen just about getting spotted right here.
This could be good for Team WE. They want to move over. If they overextend for OMG, there is a counterplay, but it's Wayward who just unleashes Glacial Prison. The combo's there. Hery's gone. Tianzhen now has to retreat, and he's going to get locked down, and this combo is lethal. A double kill for Wayward.
And Tianzhen, I feel like, jumped onto a creep as well, onto the initial engage. Great ward right there in the tri-brush to spot Tianzhen around. As you'll see, Tianzhen had to drop his grumps, his Krugs up the tops of the map just to help Hery crash that wave. And Yanxiang was around to absolutely capitalize on that. They knew that the Rengar was around and knew that they could take them 2 versus 2. As you can see right here, he drops the camp, walks into river, just about gets spotted right before that wood. pretty much expires. And Wayward knows that he can just flash W onto this cannon. The snipe coming through from Yanxiang as well. And Tianzhen jumps onto the creep. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think whether he jumped onto Wayward or Yanxiang, it would have been a completely different outcome. It was just kind of like the panic of the moment, jumping onto the creep instead of trying to trade onto Wayward or Yanxiang.
And the problem there is all the gold did go to Starry, so you're playing away from where the gold sink is. And yes, Hery was able to scoop up one, but this matchup, and especially the double melee comp with the Sejuani and Renekton, is just so strong together. Now Team WE, they're moving out on towards this bottom side. There is another dragon that has spawned. They were able to secure the 3 grubs on the top side. The next setup is coming now, so they do have some decisions to make here.
Now, FoFo, though, has completed that Kraken Slayer. That is a pretty big spike. If you look all over OMG's inventories, it's pretty much Bootyard Cell trying to finish that first item. Couple of components in there for OMG. Is not going to be quite as potent as a Kraken Slayer in the inventory of Evolution early on. So OMG are going to pretty much concede the bot side of the map. Head towards that top. You do have Hery having flash yet again onto this cannon. You could be looking to shift over Starry as well, which is going to be the case right now. He has to go through the entirety of WE to make it to the top side river, but he should be fine.
There was you know, a lot of very heavy engaged bodies there that he had to walk through, but he's okay. He's just fine. And OMG will take away a couple of those grubs. They are going to move away from it, though, to try to contest this dragon that's being started, because 2 stacked dragons might just be a little bit better for the early game of OMG.
OMG don't have a lot of setup. They do see what's happening in the river, however. They do have the Scuttle Crab, but Starry had to catch that bot lane wave. Tianzhen is trying to find his wave. Hery is waited.
They can pull the trigger. They don't really have wards there. Weaver's wall blocking off Mark. Mark needs to get to a teammate. Glacial Fissure comes out. There's the Avenger beams, but already one is taken. Mark is down. Now you got Wayward on the back line. Wayward, the big croc. He's taking them all down. He's gotten Ppgod, but a big slicing Maelstrom is going to separate the fight now. Tianzhen gets Wayward, and now the dragon goes over to the Rengar himself. That kitty's got claws, but so do the birds. Abel going down, and cats like birds all day. And OMG, they're fighting down FoFo, but FoFo, he can't do it. A triple kill to Tianzhen on his famous, or maybe infamous, Rengar.
And this is why you don't leave this pick open versus Tianzhen. That was a fantastic fight. Not only does he secure the dragon for his team, but he gets out with a 3, 2, and 5, 1.2k lead over his counterpart on WE. Massive W in this team fight for Team OMG. And let's watch this one more time. Great move right here. Splits up FoFo and Yanxiang. And look at where the TP from Hery is coming. It's coming to the left side to try and split apart Team WE. They cannot push forward. You see FoFo hesitates for a second, fearing the slicing Maelstrom coming through from Hery. Once this is down, Tianzhen is going to secure that one. And a fantastic play from Abel that's being read through by Starry right there. You see him pull back, put as much damage as possible before going down. You cannot walk into a bush, though, versus a Rengar. FoFo learned that the hard way.
Oh my goodness, FoFo almost pulling out a miracle there. But OMG will take that and run with it. They still only have about the same gold lead they came into that with, but now that Tianzhen has a little bit more strength to him as well, we have those first items coming up for majority members. Obviously, Angel's still a little bit behind on that one, but we don't have time to rest on our laurels because a Rift Herald is coming up, and WE are up here in force.
And as you can see, they have already shifted Starry towards that mid lane. You do have that static shift. You're a little bit stronger right now with the Zeri. Again, we said that Starry has majority of that gold lead in his inventory. 1.6k up onto Abel. This Zeri is going to be hurting quite a lot in this particular one. The resets are going to come through for OMG, and WE are going to take this as a sign to start that Rifter. You'll see that Wayward has already shifted all the way from that bot lane, walked all the way up as well. They want to make sure that they will be able to take down that Rifter for themselves. WE, first neutral objective right here on the map. OMG will be praying around, but they will not find much this time.
Definitely a little hesitant to go overboard there, especially even though the resets had just come through. But OMG will move back out on the map, try to get a little bit of siege on this mid lane. Now the biggest question then is with all of these early fights and things like that, OMG put themselves in a very promising position, but there's still all those peel tools we've talked about so often for WE once they come together.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I really wanted OMG to see if they can actually contest that Herald. Opening up that mid lane tower is gonna cause so many problems for WE. You have extremely squishy carries that have to walk up the mid lane, push down that wave, and there's a very fed Rengar on the other side of the ring. So I feel like that mid lane tier 1 is going to be probably the most precious possession for Team WE. No, the girl, okay. Smite away, but Tianzhen calculated. But yeah, that mid lane tier 1 from WE, the most precious possession that they will be having against that Rengar Taliyah that wants to jump you.
And that's the way forward, honestly, the jumping aspect of things. We did just get Runans completed for Starry, so a lot more team fight damage in that regard. And I think they'll be able to use that pretty well once they have Hery in the fold. We are going to have TPs coming up for both top laners, so at the next dragon fight, I do expect the Avenger beams to be spawned once again. But I also love that we're getting a little bit of move from Mark and FoFo up here to try to take this outer tower.
You'll see 3 members of WE walking towards that top side of the map. Pinch and Hery is probably going to be the easiest person to take down underneath the tower. However, this time around, it's just going to be a hover by both jungle and bot lane of Team WE to make sure that FoFo pushes out that wave pretty safely. It's going to be Dragon in about 45 seconds. And as you can see, my god, 1,000 gold up on the richest person of Team WE. Starry truly has the power to carry this one through. Again, reminder right here, there's so many threats on Team OMG that it's going to be so difficult to focus down that Zeri if Starry keeps himself safe from trouble.
Getting ready for this dragon fight here. Tianzhen already going for the engage. They're cut off now as the Weaver's Wall comes across. Yanxiang needs to get out of here. The convergence isn't going to help him here. Hery catching out FoFo too, and things are falling apart at the wheel for WE.
Great picks are here from OMG. We talked about them having a W forward button. That's exactly what they're doing. They're using their gold lead perfectly right here to try and take as much control of the map as possible. That will be the 3rd dragon, and it is an ocean. It definitely is going to be helping up later on getting that region through. Tianzhen's going to make sure that he secures that one for themselves. 6-1 and 4 now for Starry, picking up yet another kill.
And we talked so much in the draft and the lead up to the draft itself about some of the developmental pieces that the teams have been willing to go for, and not only in this split but here in recency. But Starry is one of those for OMG. Obviously, Abel was going back and forth with him beforehand, but it's really nice to see him step up to the plate in an important matchup for the kind of halfway mark of your season.
And here you can see also the trust from Tianzhen to his team. He's engaging onto hold on.
FoFo, he's getting the defensive TPs out. FoFo in the alcove, but he's just going down. Wayward and the rest of the team is here. He's trying to fight tooth and nail, but he can't do it. And those teeth will be claimed for the bone tooth necklace of the Rengar. Now you actually move over onto Mark, and OMG want to keep collapsing here. They don't have much of a tower to speak of. A little bit of indecision for WE. Wayward just sets the charge, but they leave Mark behind. And they might say no man left behind, but WE don't subscribe to that. And OMG are going to continue to siege.
I mentioned how that mid lane tier 1 is going to be very precious from WE for them to not get caught out, but it does not matter for OMG. Tianzhen is playing so aggressively on the map. The second you overextend even just a tiny bit off of your tower, you get punished. Like,
all we know is go! Slicing Maelstrom to set up the kills, and they take down Wayward under turret. They'll take that outer, tier 2 rather, in the bot side, get all that extra local gold too. They weren't able to defend the outer in mid, so that was claimed by Team WE, but it's paltry prizes here.
Great to see such decisive play from OMG. We said coming up to this series, this is going to be their first real test in terms of being in that group Nirvana. Reminder that OMG came from a group with, yes, BLG and LNG. However, they didn't have RA in their group as well. They did not manage to pick up a single win. They went 0-6. Going into that group Nirvana, you expected them to get a couple of Ws, and they did. However, those Ws were towards the bottom 3 teams of that group as well. So their whole success was not credited as much, and now today this is the real task, going up against Team WE that had a pretty promising start to the split, especially with the names that they were bringing in, and OMG seems so decisive. Now, I will add the caveat right here that the team looks so freaking proactive, because Tianzhen is just feeling good on the rift. Like, you can see it. He's got his champion, he sees champion, he engages champion, he kills champion. Like, he kills FoFo right here, and no fear, just jumps onto Renekton and Sejuani. There's a tower right there.
And like we said it from the beginning, you're going to ask a question to yourself, WE. Can you leave the Rengar open or not? The question is no, you cannot. And that question has been answered time and time again. Here they just get completely split apart, and that's what that go-forward mentality of OMG have wrought them so far in this game. They're on Soul Point. They've got everything going for them, and about a 3,000 gold lead on top of all of it.
RNG made the mistake of leaving the Rengar open, and this caused the permaban wave right after.
He's just finding a business. I mean, you step to the king of the jungle, and he's going to take you every time. He finds another one to add to the necklace, and now there's pings all over in the mid lane here by OMG.
He's just having too much fun, man. 5, 2, and 8. Hery's looking from the side as well. They're just going to pull the trigger onto the Baron 21 minutes in. Do you dare walk up, WE? You've lost one of your two main carries. Lucian is down. FoFo doesn't have the TP. Dead for 16 seconds as well.
Predators can smell fear, and that might be what Tianzhen's smelling right now. Hery gonna go over onto the jungle, and Yanxiang is just gone. Starry claims that one, and the fear is palpable, radiating from Team WE.
They don't know how to react to this one. They're actually not very sure how they can approach these fights. The second you walk into a bush, you get jumped on by a Rengar. OMG are gonna get straight back onto that Baron. FoFo is up and available.
They've got the flank. They've got it. Hery on the other side. They didn't know what was coming. You went into the cave of the beast, and the slicing maelstrom is gonna set everything up. Big blade caller from Abel, though. He's setting it up now, back forward, but they already took down Wayward, so now the front to back, the blade caller again. It's not gonna be enough, but FoFo gets one back as well. A double kill going either way, but they might actually be able to survive this one for the dragon fight.
4.6k damage coming out of Abel right here. He lost everything. His ult, both his summoners. He's been putting an otherworldly performance right here onto the Xayah, going above and beyond the champion's capabilities to try and get something back. And WE just walks straight into the jaws of a shark yet again. There were not many abilities left on the side of OMG, however, and lovely blade callers coming back to back from Abel. Not only does he shut down Tianzhen, sorry, that would be FoFo.
Oh, we ain't got time.
Insane blade caller, and that
We're going right back to it. Oh my goodness. They're actually going for Hery on the other side now too. They have a masterful flank here. Predatory instincts have been popped by Tianzhen. They want to get in this pit immediately. And now the Weaver's Wall, they're separating, but it's blocked by the Unbreakable. And now Wayward, he's trying to get away from Tianzhen, but Tianzhen's in the pit, and it's going to be stolen again. Tianzhen comes up big, and Starry already takes down the big croc. Now they're just chasing, and we said all you got to do is step forward, and OMG are stepping all over Team WE. Oh my God.
Great win right here from OMG. They're going to claim another one. That one was personal. Starry taking down Abel. Not only does he replace him on OMG, but he has a little bit of insult to injury right there for Abel. Great team fight right there from OMG. Again, the confidence is oozing from OMG. And the question mark does remain, even though this is such a great, decisive series, where the trust seems to be flowing through OMG in the way they're playing those team fights. Let's have a look at this again. Hery right here doesn't quite have his ultimate ready. However, that brush in the pit was designed for Tianzhen's Rengar to play around. He's going to steal that one. Wayward just about gets away with his life as well. The flash from Starry is going to seal the deal on the live, though.
We don't get to look at replays. We just don't get to look at replays. They did end up grabbing the Baron, too.
They've got 21 kills in 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's absolute insanity. But this is the train you ride when you give OMG the Rengar, specifically Tianzhen. And it's been an awesome addition. I think there's been a lot of questions in the past for him, especially on IG, and if he was going to take the main role and things like that. But it really has been a level up from his LDL performances, especially on this OMG roster.
And OMG right now, they've got all the tools. Ppgod's going to get caught here, but extremely slippery. That's what we talked about all the self-agency, how slippery all these champions for OMG are. Tianzhen, how slippery are you? Because you've got 3 members of WE chasing you down. You're going to be more than fine.
They just can't even get to their turret here. They're going to lose an inhib turret in topside. There's another wave crashing. Predatory Instincts has been popped here. Might be looking for the gank, but they're actually finding the engage on Ppgod. Tianzhen is just taking the turret here. Ppgod falls to FoFo, and now the Blade Caller combo there, but he doesn't really get much slicing. Elter right back, and now the lightning crash as well, and it just seems like the thunder is on the side of OMG, and call it lightning too. Abel trying his damnedest, but he's taken down by none other than Starry, his replacement. And OMG, they've proved the doubters wrong, and they've taken a 1-0 thrashing over Team WE. There's heavy death timers, but OMG, they'll slowly make the mark.
Double ADs, they're gonna destroy through those towers. What a decisive victory by OMG.
Game number 1, you give Tianzhen his ring guard, but not only that, like, I don't want people to say, oh, this is only because, you know, Starry got 3 kills early. No, it was the execution of a lead. That was the biggest conversation coming into tonight for OMG, and they answered all of those because in a state where you haven't seen OMG against some of the best teams in their group, this has been a incredible start to a best of 3.
I feel like that teamwork worked incredibly well. The fact that Hery was willing to drop everything topside into someone like Wayward, where you give him an inch and he'll take a mile through that topside just to get his team ahead, and it just worked. 1 kill for Tianzhen was enough. 3 for Starry. They absolutely demolished them. And again, all of these threats around OMG allowed for Starry to be able to play through those team fights. He was literally the last man alive in every single one of them.
Yeah, it's incredibly impressive. But Team WE, no slouches, looking to bounce back for game number 2. We are going to step away for a little break, and we'll be right back to Xi'an afterwards.